Some mulligans on this one. Will Pulliam on your left, he's piloting Eldrazi Tron. He's on 6 cards. For John Holmes on the right, he's on 5 cards for the first game.
Humans is not a deck that generally likes being on 5 cards. When you have these Ether Vial decks, it's tough to have enough stuff left over, but he has the right start here.
In particular, Holmes has 2 lands and 2 Aether Vials in his opener.
Yikes.
So he's got just 1 threat. He'll be looking for more.
Yeah, just playing off the top, and this is a deck that largely relies on having a critical mass of stuff. You have Champion of the Parish, which scales with the more humans you're able to cast, and Thalia's Lieutenant that also cares a lot about having more humans.
Now, right now, just Will Pulliam's going to try to set up Tron here. Urza's Tower and Expedition map works pretty well.
And when you're mulliganing with humans, you really want to find enough copies of your creatures that are just good on their own. Mantis Rider, kind of the best card in that regard.
Well, Holmes has a pair of threats. He casts Thalia here. Next turn, he'll have access to Meddling Mage. And Urza's Mine from Pulliam. That with the map means we will see turn 3 Tron. Now, this deck isn't as much into Karn. There is no Karn in the list, so he's fairer when he hits 7.
So this is actually an interesting spot for a Meddling Mage in the matchup. Now, these players, they obviously haven't played against each other in this tournament, but at 9-0 with such a small field of undefeated players, it's possible John knows he's playing the colorless matchup.
He might name Karn, is what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, and there are no Karns in Williams' deck. So we'll see another Aether Vial from Holmes, and he's going to vial in that last mage. See if he can, how prepared he is. Now, yeah, he named Oblivion Stone.
That's a miss. It's going to be a miss for Eldrazi Tron. And yeah, the card you really need to fade is All Is Dust. In this particular matchup, Endbringer is also a reasonable name.
I mean, there's a lot, right? Even Walking Ballista here from Pulliam would likely win.
Right. But yeah, as you can see, he just thinks he's playing against Green Tron, which is reasonable. This is kind of the nut draw for Green Tron as well. We haven't seen anything that deviates from that, but he's about to be in a lot of trouble because of that name. 7
mana, and now he'll know the mistake here. Endbringer is going to be the play from Will Pulliam.
The Bringer of the End, and that is really good on this board.
Yeah. When Will untaps that, it's going to just start mowing through John's creatures.
It's got a free hit on Thalia already.
Yep, and
just draws extra cards.
Top card from John is a land, and that might just be it.
Yeah, if Will has any meaningful follow-up, he's already just in a very good position with the Endbringer itself. You get a free card, just taking down the Thalia. Yeah. Likely here, you're just going to draw extra cards.
So Endbringer is going to shoot down Thalia.
Gets to untap every turn, too.
Right, so he'll get options. He can either deal a damage each turn, and this is both players' turn. He can make a creature not attack or block, or he can draw a card. You see some follow-up. It's going to be Mind Stone.
I believe a Reality Smasher is available.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that's what he's going for. Just wants to decide how to tap up to 5. Would like to use Eldrazi Temple if possible. He's going to actually crack Mind Stone. That makes sense. So he has 1 mana floating. He can still make the Smasher this turn. That's what he's going to do. We're making an Endbringer.
Okay, that's not bad.
And that's going to be good enough also.
Yeah, 2 Endbringers, that certainly ought to seal the game. So we're going into game 2 here.
And you're going for game 2. So a quick one there for Will Pulliam. He goes up 1-0. So we're going to go over and look over the sideboards between the players. We'll get to the sideboard analysis and game number 2 in just a minute. All right, we are back here with the match of Pulliam versus Holmes. This is the undefeated table. Table 1 to start the day. Winner will be in first place. And it was William Pulliam on Eldrazi-tron taking advantage of that mulligan from John Holmes, and with turn 3 Tron made short work of the human army. Look at John Holmes' sideboard, see if he has some options against larger creatures. Auriok Champion, Gutshot, Grafdigger's Cage, Izzet Staticaster, Kataki, Sin Collector, Dismember, Selfless Spirit, and Zathrid Necromancer. There's not that much that I think can help him here.
No, most of this is going to be pretty poor in the matchup. Pretty much just looking at that one copy of Dismember.
Yeah, and that'll be pretty strong as any of the Eldrazi. A lot of times, are there cards you'd see out of humans to fight this matchup?
You kind of have the most important cards in your main deck, those Reflector Mages. The thing about Eldrazi-tron is it's not a very easy deck to hate. Pretty much just have to have a couple answers of large creatures. Humans already has a fair go against Chalice of the Void, which is one of the things other decks are concerned with. With Ether Vial, Cavern of Souls, you're not too concerned about that. So you just want to have some number of answers to large creatures.
Yeah, I suppose it's a long way from Eldrazi Winter when we were seeing Intrepid Hero out of players.
Right.
On Will Pulliam's side, 3 Relic of Progenitus, 2 Gutshot of his own, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Pithing Needle, 2 Hangerback Walker, 2 Ratchet Bomb, a Basilisk Collar, and a Spatial Contortion. I actually like how much he can improve.
Yeah, there's a good amount of cards to consider here. Gutshot is certainly fine in the matchup. It hits a lot of the early humans, so it's not exceptional. The Ratchet Bomb is nice. That can clean up a lot of things there. You don't hate Pithing Needle to turn off Ether Vial, though it is a bit narrow.
Yeah, I certainly don't hate Spatial Contortion.
Yeah, that one's just another removal spell.
Holmes will be on the play here. Looks like he has mulliganed and his scries to the bottom. And we'll go Horizon Canopy, the 1 land here from Holmes. And it'll be into Noble Hierarch.
Yeah, that's a good start. Get to accelerate the mana. Looks like a Thalia's Lieutenant's in the hand as well. A couple more humans, and you can really get some damage output on the table.
Now, Expedition map off Urza's Mind for Pulliam. We should watch whether or not how fast he can make Tron. It does look like he has a copy of All Is Dust in the opening hand.
Yikes. That's really going to be the hardest card for John to beat. He'll want to get a Meddling Mage on that one quickly.
Yeah, 3 mana is going to be Mantis Rider from Holmes. That'll attack in for 4 thanks to the Exalted trigger from Noble Hierarch. So a good start from John Holmes puts Pulliam down to 16. And this actually, I think, has a lot of pressure on Pulliam to make Tron on turn 3. If it happens on turn 4, I don't know if it's fast enough.
Right, it could be too late. Also, every draw step you give John is another crack at Meddling Mage, which can turn that off.
Yeah, and he makes Cavern of Souls here. That means at the earliest, you see him with Expedition map, he'll have Tron on turn 4. See if Holmes can capitalize.
And if he's just spending the time cracking maps in between, he's not doing anything to stem the bleeding.
Yeah, he'll have to just naturally draw some lands. He does have cards in his hand that have play, but they are all slow. We see 2 copies of Walking Ballista and a Ratchet Bomb, both all in his hand.
I want to say there's a Dismember hovering. That one's actually pretty good.
That's huge if it's there. Here's Thalia's Lieutenant from Holmes, and we'll get to check on Dismember this turn. If he has it, there's no way he's going through the turn without casting it.
Yeah, you got to tag that Mantis Rider. You'll wait for attacks because of the Exalted trigger on the Noble Hierarch.
And there you go. It's going to be a Dismember on Mantis Rider. You actually, I guess if Holmes doesn't have a follow-up play, he may have left a point of damage on the board there by not swinging with Hierarch.
Yeah, if the Mantis Rider connected, obviously it's kind of the same thing, but you play around Dismember by ascending the Hierarch as well.
Well, Pulliam's still down to 12. Still does take 4 because he had to cast Dismember. And now a crack of Expedition map. I don't believe Will drew a land, so he has to do this to make his land drop. Looks like he's going to get Urza's Tower.
Kind of the ideal scenario is you make your land drop and you get to map for the 3rd kind of Tron piece on this turn. Then next turn you don't have to crack the map and you can just go for All Is Dust. Now you have to draw the exact 3rd Tron piece to enable that on the following turn. He
can, next turn, I guess, map for the 3rd Tron piece, play it, have 5 mana, make a 2/2 Ballista. It's not ideal, but
fine.
It could play.
Yeah. He has slowing things down a lot with that Mantis Rider off the table. We'll see what John's able to produce in addition to these creatures this turn, but not too much power on the table right now.
Looks like John's going to have to pick between Zathrid Necromancer and Thalia. And given those choices, he's going to go with the Necromancer. This one's out of the sideboard, kind of your Rotlung Reanimator, if you will. It's 2/2. Every time a human dies on John's side, he will get a zombie.
That has some counterplay against All Is Dust.
Yeah, I do like that a fair amount. Now, there is a Ratchet Bomb in William's hand, so it's some short play against All Is Dust.
Yeah, that one cleans up tokens really effectively.
Yeah.
The question is how quickly
How much
Will can actually cast that All His Dust. What his life total is going to be? Is he going to be able to All His Dust and Ratchet Bomb next turn?
Yeah, he finds the third Tron piece, which means he's up to 8 mana. For that All His Dust Ratchet Bomb play, he'll need 9. Now, I missed his draw this turn if he actually hit a land or not.
If he casts the Ratchet Bomb now, then he can just play All His Dust and then crack the bomb immediately next turn.
Okay. So he goes and gets the third Tron piece. 5 mana available this turn. It looks like he's going to go for Matter Reshaper with 3. And actually, I'd love Ratchet Bomb with the last 2 here. And that's going to be the play. This is really smart sequencing by Will Pulliam.
Right, yeah, if he waits to Ratchet Bomb next turn, he needs to find another land to actually execute there. So I like setting up the Ratchet Bomb now.
And with 8 mana, he's Thalia-proof. Meddling Mage would be the only way Holmes can stop this.
It looks like the hand is Thalia and Reflector Mage.
Reflector Mage isn't bad. I mean, it's a lot of damage. It will bounce. It could bounce Matter Reshaper, and that would be 6 damage. He'd put Will to 3, meaning a top-decked Mantis Rider could end things. And John, here's going to be Thalia. The Lieutenant becomes a 3/3 Reflector Mage. He's pushing all into this All His Dust.
Yeah, he's kind of calling on All His Dust, but with the Ratchet Bomb face up on the table, you see that it's game over if Will has it.
Yeah, and Will's happy to see this commitment, so up to another one for Thalia's Lieutenant. So swings me for 6. Will go to 3. John's going to lose his entire board here, but a Mantis Rider will kill Will here.
Yeah, you do like that, putting yourself live to that top deck.
But I think a bit more of a commitment to the board than I would have liked to have seen from John there. And he's going to pay a price for it, pretty big. Here's Eldrazi Temple from Pulliam. 7 mana.
Yeah, you get a Kraken for 6 if you just play the Reflector Mage. You can hold on to the Thalia at least.
Yeah, and here's All His Dust. He's paying 8 to get through Thalia. John says, all right, I'll get a bunch of zombies. And Will says, all right, then I'll crack Ratchet Bomb or destroy all the zombies. Everything is gone. It has all been turned to dust.
Looking for Mantis Rider.
And he'll pass. And he does not have too much time. In a second here, Will can just sit back and always have a 3/3 Walking Ballista up, and then he will be safe from the Mantis Rider win.
Right.
That's exactly what he's going to do. It looks like a Ballista on 5. And he'll pass.
That's a lot of Triskelion.
Yeah, John passes the turn.
And that just has a lot of closing speed too, and it doesn't have to play strictly defense. It can attack as well.
Ballista swings for 5. Will makes another Ballista for 5, and that's going to do it. Will Pulliam, after a 9-0 run yesterday, he takes the first round today, and now he sits atop the standings, the only player at 10-0.
Some